ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशव वामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। In the last session, we successfully completed one of the most beautiful Upanishads we have in our Shastra, Kathopanishad. And after that, now, with the grace of our Paramapuja Sadyojata Shankarashram Swamiji and our entire Guru Parampara, with their grace, I have been asked to take a few Advaita Stotras of Adi Shankaracharya. About 6 or 7 Advaita Stotras I'll be taking. What are these Advaita Stotras? Shankaracharya Bhagwan has written a number of stotras. Many of them are hymns in the praise of Lord with various forms. That is Ishvara, Saguna Ishvara, in various forms. There are stotras which are written for the purpose of puja and upasana, for the sake of worship, for the sake of japa. Lot of these stotras are written by Adi Shankaracharya. At the same time, Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya has also written a number of stotras which have the ultimate meaning given by Vedanta. The Advaita Siddhanta of our Vedanta or our Upanishads, that is the Advaita vision of what our Upanishads give, that is given by Adi Shankaracharya Bhagavan in many of the stotras which are called as the Advaita Stotras. In the Advaita Stotras, we don't have any descriptions of Ishvara with names and forms or the glories or the attributes of Ishvara with names and forms. And there are no Ishta Devata descriptions there, but it is entirely what has been talked about by us in the last 3 texts, that is Bhagavad Gita and Viveka Chudamani 108 verses and also Kathopanishad, where we saw a beautifully given central message of Vedanta, where we have the central message of all our scriptures, especially the Advaita Vedanta. We need not say Advaita Vedanta because Vedanta itself gives the real picture or the central or the core teaching of the Upanishads, which is nothing but Advaita. What is the teaching? What is the content of the teaching of our scriptures or Vedanta? Ultimately, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This is the teaching of Vedanta, and that we have seen in all the 3 texts we have done. And our Pujya Swamiji wanted me to kind of do a revision of whatever we have studied with the 3 big granthas which we have studied so far. You got a taste of a Prakarana Grantha in Viveka Chudamani. You got the taste of an Upanishad in one of the most beautiful Upanishads, Kathopanishad. And of course, the entire Moksha Shastra from the point of view of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So now Swamiji wanted me to give the summary of this entire Vedanta teaching in a simple form, It is basically to remind and also for nididhyasanam of whatever we have already studied in these texts in the form of these Advaita Stotras of Shankaracharya. And I have selected these stotras in a certain order because Advaita teaching starts with Purushartha Nishchaya. Means what? I have to be ready for this knowledge. I must be interested in this knowledge. It's only when I'm interested in this knowledge, when I'm interested in finding out the truth of what I am, what the Jagat is, what Ishvara is, and when I'm really interested in getting out of my bondage that I'm perceiving right now, only then I become a mumukshu. And these Advaita Stotras are meant for these mumukshus in a very, very small, in small forms, in a few verses. Like most of these stotras may be 5 verses, maximum 8 or 9 or 10 verses. They are there in that form. These stotras are there, which are like capsules. These Advaita Stotras are like capsules which contain the teaching of Advaita Vedanta in a very, very, cryptic, not even cryptic, in a very, very, summarized manner, in a very short manner. They're all short works which give the meaning of Vedanta. Some of them start from Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, the beginning, Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, then Jnana Yoga. They go to the whole thing. Whereas some of them straight away start with the core of the teaching of Vedanta. So, with this background, I have chosen the first text of the Advaita stotras of Adi Shankaracharya. We can take them as Prakarana Granthas. Each of the stotra is like a Prakarana Grantha because each stotra is something which unfolds the teaching of Vedanta. So we can take it as a Prakarana Grantha. Something like Vivek Chudamani or Tattvabodha or Atmabodha or any of the Prakaranas. We can take each of these Advaita stotras almost as a Prakarana Grantha. So the first Advaita stotra of Adi Shankaracharya I have chosen is Bhajagovindam. Of course, all these stotras, the 7 or 8 stotras that we'll be taking, have been taken with the approval of our Pujya Swamiji. He has suggested that I take these in this particular order so that the order of the teaching of Vedanta is maintained. And the very first text that I have been asked to take is the text called Bhajagovindam. Now you may wonder, how can Bhajagovindam be an Advaita Stotra? Yes, Bhajagovindam is an Advaita Stotra because Bhajagovindam starts with telling a mumukshu, now is the time for you to choose your Purushartha. May you make the Purushartha Nishchaya. That is it. Bhajagovindam, yes, the name is that, but the name of Bhajagovindam actually is Moha Mudgaraha. Mudgaraha means a hammer. Moha Mudgaraha means this stotra is like a hammer which literally makes my moha or delusion into pieces. That's why it is called as Moha Mudgaraha. And Adi Shankaracharya, in this work of Bhajagovindam, writes basically only 12 verses. There are actually 30 verses in Bhajagovindam, but only the first 12 verses are written by Adi Shankaracharya. That is why it is also called Dvadasha Manjari or Dvadasha Manjarika, a bouquet of 12 verses. Dvadasha Manjarika. So also they are called by that name. But the most common name is Mohamudgaraha. Here, through this particular text or this particular stotra, Adi Shankaracharya is actually hitting at our delusion or our moha. Adi Shankaracharya takes a number of fields of our moha, different fields where we are deluded. Moha means delusion. And we are deluded. We have already seen it is a deluded intellect. And Adi Shankaracharya attacks our various fields of delusion. What is the meaning of attacking? He makes us see the truth very clearly that whatever I am holding on to is nothing but an effect of moha or delusion. What you think is what gives me peace, security, and happiness is nothing but delusion. If I think that artha and kama are going to give me everlasting peace, security, and happiness, it is a great delusion. And what is this delusion born out of? This delusion is born out of avidya. What is avidya? Ignorance. We have already seen that. Ignorance about what? Who I am. I'm ignorant of who I am. Ignorant of what the Jagat is. Ignorant of what all the other jivas are. Ignorant of what God is, Ishvara is. I take whatever I see in the world superficially, along with my own body mind sense complex, and also the names and forms and objects in the world as reality, out of my avidya. It is not my fault. It is my ignorance which I have been born with, because of which I am deluded into taking that which is not the truth as the truth and suffer the bondage of raga, shoka, and moha, which we have already seen in Bhagavad Gita also, we have seen in Vivek Chudamani also, we have seen it in Kathopanishad also. So, what does Adi Shankara do in Bhajagovindam? His purpose is to make me realize that in my present way of living, where I'm running after artha and kamas, and thinking that artha and kama is ultimately going to give me the security and the happiness and the peace that I'm looking for. Hey Jiva, it is nothing but delusion. I will point out to you various fields or areas of your delusion. This is the time for you to choose the moksha purushartha. Artha kama purusharthas are not going to give that happiness and peace you are looking for. What is it that going to give you the security, peace, and happiness that you're looking for? It is nothing but choose moksha purushartha. May you choose Shreyas. We saw that in Kathopanishad, we saw that. If you remember, I just want to remind you because it is immediately after Kathopanishad. Entire Mohamudgara or Bhajagovindam is a commentary on the two verses of Kathopanishad, that is the Dvitiya Valli, first chapter, Dvitiya Valli, first verse and the second verse. The first verse says, Anyat Shreyo Anyadutaiva Preyah Te Ubhe Nanarthe Purushagam Sinitaha Tayoho Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu भवति हीयते अर्थाद्य उप्रेयो वृणीते. First verse. Second verse says, श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरो अभिवृणीते प्रेयसो वृणीते Preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. I'm not going to give the description or the details of this. What it means is that there are two paths. There is a path of Shreyas, which is called as Moksha Purushartha, which is going to ultimately free me from my bondage. There is another called as the Preyas or the Preyo Marga, where I go after fulfilling temporary desires, temporary fulfillment, ephemeral fulfillment of my desires in the form of Artha Kama. And Yamadharmaraja says, Hey Nachiketa, a human being has a choice. A human being, unlike animals, has a choice. What is the choice we have? We can select. We can choose one over the other. That is the reason for our conflict, basically. When anybody has a choice, there is a conflict because I don't know which one I should take, which one I should leave. What should I do? What should I not do? So when Bhagwan has given us a choice, should I choose the Preyo Marga and go after Artha Kama and ephemeral material results of these Arthakama pursuits? Or should I go after the Moksha Purushartha and once and for all get free from this bondage? Yamadharma Raja says there in these two verses that a human being has a choice. I have a choice to decide whether I have to be a Prayorthi or a Shreyorthi. And these two are two different divergent paths. I have to make a Purushartha Nishchaya. I have to make a decision as to which Purushartha I am going to go after. Is it Arthakama Purushartha or is it Moksha Purushartha that I want? Is it the Preyas that I want? Is it the Shreyas that I want? And what are the problems with Preyas? What are the problems with Shreyas? Not problems. What is the advantage of Shreyas? Difficulties associated with Shreyo Marga also we have seen in Kathopanishad. The ultimate advantage of Shreyo Marga we have seen. What happens when I go after the Preyo Marga in the form of Arthakama Purusharthas? That also we have seen in Kathopanishad. And these two verses of Kathopanishad are going to be elaborated in Bhajagovindam or Moha Mudgaraha, which is the real name of Bhajagovindam. And this Bhajagovindam starts with this name called Bhajagovindam because this is the beginning of the stotra. So the other name for this work is Bhajagovindam because it starts with those particular two words. Now, what is the meaning of Bhajagovindam? What is the meaning of Govinda? Choose moksha. Here, Govinda stands for God, Lord, Ishvara, Brahman, or moksha. See, in a small text like Bhajagovindam, which we chant very regularly, we see it very regularly being chanted everywhere, but we don't know that it is an Advaita Grantha. What is the meaning of Bhaja Govindam? Bhaja means choose. Bhaja, choose Govindam, Moksha Purushartha. May you choose Moksha Purushartha. May you make a clear decision on the Purushartha Nishchaya. Krishna told Arjuna, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. What is Vyavasayatmika buddhi? What is it that I want? I want temporary results, ephemeral results, continue to live in bondage, come again and again in every cycle of birth and death, or I want something which will completely release me from all my bondage here and now, and I don't come back into the cycles of birth and death again. This is what is called as the Purushartha Nishchaya. And Shankaracharya Bhagavan says, Bhaja Govindam. Of course, Govinda is a name of Bhagwan Vishnu who took avatara in the form of Krishna also. And Govinda has many meanings. Gam Vindati Palayati iti Govinda. Govinda means Gam, means the one in Krishna Avatara who protected the cows and nourished the cows. Gam Vindati Palayati. The one who protects, the one who loves and protects cows in the form of Krishna Avatara. That is one meaning of Govinda. Then Go also means earth. So Gam Prithvim Vindati Palayati. In the avatara of Varaha Avatara, Bhagwan Mahavishnu actually released Mother Earth from being a prisoner of one of the Rakshasas. So what did he do? Varaha Avatara Rupena, he protected the earth. So go means here earth also. There are different meanings for the word go. Go means cow, so Krishnavattara Rupena, so Govinda. It is named for Vishnu also, Prithvim Vindati Palayati iti. Go also means Indriyas. Govinda means the inner essence of all our Indriyas. We have already seen. What is the inner essence of all our Indriyas? Consciousness, nothing but this Brahman, this Atma. So the ultimate meaning of Govinda is this Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. This Brahman, this Atma is the ultimate meaning of Govindam, Govinda. So Bhajagovindam means choose Govinda as your goal. Choose Atma as your goal. Choose Ishvara as your goal. May you choose Moksha as your Purushartha. So Bhajagovinda means Moksha Purushartha Nishchaya. That is the actual purpose of Bhajagovindam. And how does he try to tell you Moksha Purushartha is the one which is really good for you in this human birth? He has already told in Vivek Chudamani, Durlabham Narajanma. Narajanma is Durlabha. It is very, very difficult. And more than that, Manushyatvam Munumumukshutvam Mahapurusha Samshrayam. Manushyatvam, developing Moksha Purushartha and having the company of Mahapurushas or Gurus. It is one of the rarest combinations. Don't waste this life. That's what Bhagwan Yamadharmaraja also told in Kathopanishad. Let a human being who has got this life not waste this life on Artha Kama Purusharthas, coming back again and again and again and again. So may you choose moksha. May you choose Govinda. Therefore, Bhaja Govinda means choose moksha. Choose Atma. Choose Brahman as your Purushartha, as your goal. So, this is goal setting. Bhajagovinda means setting my ultimate goal as moksha. And as I said, the first 12 verses are Adi Shankaracharya's writings. After that, his Shishyas got so much, kind of charged up that they wrote something like a small kind of, there's some verses, maybe about 18 verses or something, which talk about the same thing that Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written, but they are going to talk about that in their own way. So we can divide it into two parts. The first part is the first 12 verses and the ending 13th verse, which talks about Dvadasha Manjarika, which is Bhagwan Shankaracharya's text. We'll see that. And then the other ones, the second part written by Shankaracharya's Shishyas, we can go quite fast with them because they are exactly what Bhagwan Shankaracharya says in this first 12 verses. So let us read this. It's nice to chant also. And in various ragas, Bhaja Govindam is chanted. It's almost chanted like a bhajan. Like we chant it sometimes like a stotra. And there are very, very revered musicians like M.S. Subbalakshmi who have sung Bhaja Govindam in the Carnatic classical music style, beautifully sung. So we have different ways of chanting. So I will be chanting it the way I'll be chanting now. So, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte, Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrinkarane. So, what really made Adi Shankaracharya write this Dvadasha Manjarika or Mohamudkaraha? So, a story is told that when Shankaracharya was traveling in Kashi, he saw a 90-year-old Vaidika Brahmana trying to by heart the Dhatu Pata of Panini, grammar. One of the most interesting and one of the most difficult grammar is Paninian grammar, which is learnt by many people. Now also there is something called in that called as the Dhatu Pata, or the verbal roots are given, and how the roots become really into words and all that. That is the way it, the root is used into the formation of the word, how the word is used, all this, the grammatical aspects of it is given. And Shankaracharya finds this old man trying to memorize the Dhatu Pata. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong in studying the grammar. Nothing wrong in by hearting the Dhatu Pata. But there is something more which is going to permanently release me from this bondage. And hey, Brahmana, you are already 80 plus or 90 plus with your, whatever is your death is coming near. And this is the time where you have to be Bhaja Govindam. Moksha Purushartha should be your Purushartha Nishchaya. Why are you wasting your time in Aparavidya? Grammar is good, there is no doubt. I'm not saying that the language should not be learned. It's a wonderful language. Sanskrit grammar is a wonderful thing. But then ultimately, what Adi Shankaracharya is telling is, it is ultimately Aparavidya. And therefore, how long are you going to hold on to this Aparavidya? Come to Paravidya, come to Brahman, come to Moksha Purushartha, come to Shreyo Marga. So that is what he tells, that looking at this Brahmana, putting all his effort rather than in Moksha Purushartha, rather than studying the scriptures, of Moksha Purushartha related or Upanishads, he was still continuing to memorize this. So he says that is not going to come to your rescue ultimately. What is going to come to your rescue? No Aparavidya is going to come to your rescue. No Laukika Vidya is going to come to your rescue. It is a delusion to think that the more and more and more I know Aparavidya, the more and more strong I am. I may be a scholar, that's it. I may be a scholar, but I'll never be free from this bondage. And let there be a limit to scholarship also. Let the scholarship stop at one time, and may you go into what really is that which is behind all these things, that content or that consciousness which is behind all this. May you go to Paravidya. That is what he is telling here. So he says, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Bhaja. Reiterating it three times. Mudhamate. Mudhamate does not mean fool, it means a deluded intellect. Hey, deluded intellect, understand, realize the limitations of Aparavidya. Study grammar, no problem. Study Jyotisha, no problem. Study Kalpa, no problem. Niruktam, whatever, the six Vedangas, study, there is no problem at all. But may you understand that this Aparavidya is ultimately limited, and it is only going to give you a limited scholarship, because the more you study, there is more to study. And nobody can say that I am an expert in grammar, Sanskrit grammar, because there is so much to know. So the scholarship does not really end anywhere. Therefore, he says, Govindam bhaja mudhamate. Hey, deluded intellect, may you come out of this delusion that scholarship is going to free you from your bondage and give you something. Study of Shastra, which is in the form of Aparavidya, has its own limitations. There are two things, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Brahmavidya is Paravidya, and all the other things, Laukika Vidyas and all the other things, are called as Aparavidya. And also the Vedangas, the six Vedangas associated with our primary scriptures, Vedas, are also called as Aparavidya. Therefore, hey Brahmin, try to get out of this craze for scholarship. So he says, Govindam bhaja mudhamate. Then, Kale sannihite samprapte. Kala, when the death comes to take you away, Kale sannihite, you are almost being approached by death at your age. When death is approaching you, when death is taking hold of you, nahi nahi rakshati dokring karane, your scholarship or your scholarship in Aparavidya is not going to help you. It is not going to protect you. Maybe you'll come back next time to complete this scholarship or to become a deeper or a more scholarly person. But it is not going to release you from bondage. It is only going to make you more get into more bondage. Therefore, hey, deluded intellect, some people interpret mudhamate as oh fool. No, Shankaracharya Bhagavan does not cause anybody as a fool. Nobody is a fool. All of us are the victims of avidya, because of which we are deluded. We have a confusion. Delusion is a confusion. We don't know what is it that gives me that permanent peace, security, and happiness, which I'm constantly in search of. And I go after things which give me only temporary, glimpses of security and peace and happiness. This is my delusion. And therefore, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is addressing a deluded intellect in all of us. It's not only for that he got a kind of a stimulus to write this, seeing that particular Brahmana, but this is meant for all of us, that we are all deluded intellects. So when Kale Sannihite Samprapte, none of our material achievements are going to give us freedom from our sorrow. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrinch karane means this is one of the dhatus which is there in the Paninian dhatu pata. Dukring means karane, karma. Another way in which this line is interpreted is Shankaracharya is telling the ultimate meaning of this is no amount of karma or upasana is going to give you moksha. Dukring karane. Karane means doing. You can do anything. You can worship, do anything. But ultimately, karma and upasana will only give you chitta shuddhi and chitta naichalyam and jnana yogyata prapti, which we have already seen right from Bhagavad Gita. Karma and upasana do not give me moksha. Jnanat tu eva kaivalyam. It's only Atmajnana, Brahmajnana that ultimately gives me freedom from my bondage. No amount of karma and upasana will free me from bondage. It will keep making me keep me coming back again and again and again into this cycles of birth and death. But it has a role. Karma and upasana has a role. That is why Shankaracharya has written so many saguna dvaita stotras which we use for our worship, for our pujas. We use them. Adi Shankaracharya only has written it. Then why is he saying it here? Those are meant for chitta shuddhi. There is a limit to which karma and upasana can give us a benefit. The benefit of karma, karma means what? Worship, kaika, vachika, karma, can give us the benefit in the form of chitta shuddhi, and upasana, the manasika karma, can give us chitta naishalyam, or the capacity to concentrate on this knowledge. So ultimately, karma is not going to give you moksha. It is only going to give you chitta shuddhi. So nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane means both ways. In a superficial meaning, it means that any amount of the study of aparavidya, no amount of scholarship is going to give you freedom from this bondage. Ultimately, the lakshartha of this sentence is no karma and upasana are ultimately going to give you moksha. It is jnanam, atmajnanam. What is atmajnanam? Aham brahmasmi. That knowledge alone is going to free you, O deluded intellect, from your delusion. Now he goes to other fields of delusion. What is our next field of delusion? Artha. Artha means what? Security. I want resources like money, property, family, everything as a security. Rakshartham arthyate iti arthaha. Rakshartham, for the sake of protecting myself. Arthyate, resources which I want to keep me secure, to make me feel that security, retirement security I want to have, security post retirement, where to invest my money, how to take care of my money, artha. Not that we should not do it. Bhagwan Shankaracharya is not telling us not to do it. What he is telling is that is not going to give you that ultimate security which you are looking for. It will give you some security, no doubt. You have to plan, you have to do everything, but that is not the ultimate. The ultimate security is in knowing myself to be that Brahman. That Atma Jnanam is the ultimate, that is knowledge. Ultimate security is knowing myself, Aham Brahmasmi. Anything else is only a temporary thing, like a quick fix, kind of a arrangement to make me feel temporarily a kind of security. So here he talks about artha, second field of delusion. First field of delusion is what? Scholarship is going to give me, you know, freedom from everything. That is first field of delusion. The second field of delusion, artha. Money is going to make me have peace, security, and happiness. Family, objects of the world, acquiring the objects of the world, acquiring money, acquiring relationships, that is going to keep me happy. That is what I think. That is the second field of delusion. So he says here, Moodha jahihi dhanagama trishnam kuru sat buddhim manasi vitrishnam yallabhase nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. So, hey Moodha, hey deluded intellect, jahihi dhanagama trishna. May you not run after money and security all the time. Why? That is not going to give you that permanent peace, security, and happiness which you are looking for. So, hey, deluded intellect, don't hold on and get entangled with Artha. Artha is only a temporary means, and we don't know how Artha turns out to be. What we think of Artha today may not be the same after 10 years. Therefore, may you dhanagama trishna. Trishna means a deep sense of bond, a kama, a raga, a deep binding desire. For dhana means all the resources. Dhana here stands for all the resources. Hey, deluded intellect, moodha, jahihi, give up, dhanagama trishna. That how can we give up? Is it easy to give up this? By understanding. I can't throw it away. Trishna or the deep desire, I can't throw it away like that. I can throw it away intellectually only by understanding that this is not going to give me permanent peace, security, and happiness. Kuru sad buddhim manasi vitrishnam. So may your mind be Kuru Sat Buddhi. May you have the Sat Buddhi, where your Buddhi is not always afflicted by binding desires for material comforts or material kind of happiness. May you not go after accumulating material wealth without any limit because you don't know how much you want. You go on accumulating, go on accumulating. That's the reason we see so many scams, so many thousands of lakhs of thousands. That means what? A human being does not have any kind of satisfaction or trupti out of whatever he has, how much ever he has. So he says, Kuru Sad Buddhim Manasi. May you see Manasi Vitrishna. Do what is necessary. Let there be sufficient. But don't go after it all the time as if dhanam means all the resources, is the ultimate happiness in life. Don't go after that. Our scripture says dhanam dharmartham. If you have money, if you have resources, use them for yourself. But don't hoard. Share it with other people also. Dhanam dharmartham. Yajna dana tapaha, Krishna said. Pancha Mahayajnas in the form of yajna, dana, tapas, karyameva. Yetani karyameva. Yajna dana tapas you have to do. And how can a person who doesn't have anything do yajna dana tapas? If you have been lucky enough that God has given you, Ishvara has given you sufficient wealth and resources, may you have the sadbuddhi not to go after it. Be happy with whatever you have and share it with others in the form of Panchamahayagnyas, Yajna Dana Tapas. Yallabhase nija karmopatam. Whatever you have earned dharmically by doing your swadharma, may you be happy with that, with your swadharma. Whatever is your swadharma, and whatever with that swadharma you have earned dharmically, yal labhase, that which is available to you, nija karmopatam, according to your swadharma, whatever you have earned, vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Whatever comes with that dharmic earning following your swadharma, may you be happy with that. Don't go after what you don't have. Try, no problem. But then let that not be your main intention in life. Let Artha be not the main Purushartha, because however much you have, you'll go after it. You'll not be satisfied. No, vittena na tarpaniyo manushaha Nachiketa, 8-year-old boy says that. When Yamadharma Raja tries to kind of give him all kinds of things and says, don't ask for this Atmadhyana, Pralobhanam, when he does, what does Nachiketa say? He says, Vittena na tarpaniyo manushaha. A human being is never satisfied with whatever he has, however much he has. Therefore, whatever you are offering me, hey Yamadharma Raja, I'm not interested in that. I want that permanent peace, security, and happiness, which I know that you know what it is, and I want you to teach me. That's what he has. So here he says, Vittam tena vinodaya chittam. So Shankaracharya is pointing the limitation of Artha Purushartha here. The next verse, he talks about the limitation and delusion which we have over in the field of Kama Purushartha. Kama means desires, binding desires, and Artha and Kama go together. You can't go after Artha without a desire for Artha. And there are kamas for pleasures of life. They are also called as kamas. Some of these kamas may be acquired kamas, some of the kamas may be natural kamas. And here Shankaracharya is going to talk about the natural kama or the desire which occurs between a male and a female. What he says is, you cannot do anything about this natural karma, which is Ishvara given, which is actually programmed in you for the sake of continuation of the genus. This natural attraction between a male and a female, that karma, it is there. You cannot get rid of it, but you can manage it. All the other binding karmas, you can get rid of those karmas because they're acquired karmas. You can get rid of them. An acquired karma, I can get rid of. But a natural karma, I have no control over it. But then that karma, I can actually have some kind of a nigraha on it. I need not go after it every time it is there. I can have some kind of a nigraha on it. I can have some kind of a management of my natural karmas. That is what he is telling here in the third verse. Nari sthana bhara nabhi desham drishtva maga mohavesham yetan mamsavasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. So, an attraction of a male, a karma of a male for a female, or the female for a male, drishtva, having experienced that karma, maga moha vesham, ma aga maga. May you not get under the grip of that karma, where you are willing to do anything to fulfill that karma. May you not come under the grip of that karma. That is why our scriptures have given the grahastha to us, so that these natural karmas can be in a dharmic way fulfilled. So don't get completely overwhelmed. You can't do anything about the natural desire for the opposite gender. That's not possible to do anything about it. So Nari Sthanabara Nabhi Desham Drishtva. Seeing the body of the male or female, Ma Aga Moha Vesham. Don't come under the delusion that the pleasure out of this is going to be permanent. It is only a temporary desire fulfillment. Let that desire not make you go after it and do adharmic activities. Let your fulfillment of that karma be within the dharmic limits. And how do I do that? Always remember that that body which is evoking the desire in me is nothing but a body which is perishing every minute, and it is made up of nothing but muscles and bones and fat. It is nothing else but that. So he says, Yetan mamsavasadi vikaram. This beautiful body which we are trying to beautify and keep it going forever. This beautiful body which is a center of attraction for a natural karma. What is this body ultimately? It is yetan mamsa vasadi vikaram. It is nothing but muscles and fats and bones. And when that body is dead, what is there is only these things. And therefore he says that manasi vichintaya varam varam. Again and again you think, is it worth my going after excluding everything? Whether this particular natural desire rules my life and I am willing to give up all dharma and do anything adharmic to fulfill this, that kind of a moha may you not have. There's nothing wrong in fulfilling the kamas, whether it is this natural karma or acquired karma. The desiring capacity, the Ichha Shakti also is given by Ishvara to us. Nothing wrong with desiring, but let the desire be in a certain limit so that it does not get me into a delusion thinking that this is everything. Let the desire may be not such a binding desire that it forces me to do adharmic karmas. It forces me into adharmic actions. Let that particular thing not be there. May you understand that this raga or this desire, even when fulfilled, is a temporary fulfillment of desire. And ultimately, what is this body? It is nothing but mamsa vasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya. May you go on thinking over it again and again. Again, be careful. Our Shastra does not say suppress your desires. It just says think over your desires. Let any desire not be a binding desire. Fulfill your desires within the means, within whatever is allowed in a dharmic way, and be happy. There is no need to suppress any desire, but may you fulfill it in such a way that it doesn't become a bondage to you, and also it does not become a craze for you to repeat it again and again. So he says, Manasi vichintaya varam varam. So, artha and kama are only means to the end. Money is only a means, karma is only a means. What is the end that I want? That ultimate happiness, that ultimate sukha. This is only a means. But for us, what is the delusion? We have made means as the end. We don't understand that artha and kama are only means to an end. They are not the end in itself. We do not understand that. That is our delusion, which the moha mudgara, the hammer, is actually hammering our moha. So, what did we see all this time? The first field of delusion, the scholarship. Second field of delusion, that artha is going to give me security. Third field of delusion, that karma is going to give me fulfillment of fulfilling of all my karmas, is going to give me that ultimate peace, security, and happiness. So, these three fields which we talked about. Then he talks about the ephemerity or the shortness of the human life itself. We do not feel that our life is short. Death is waiting round the corner. We are busy fulfilling our arthakama desires, but we never think that I may not have much time. And this human birth, I don't know when I'm going to get again. What I'm going to be born as in my next life, I don't know. Even if I'm born a human, whether I'm going to get whatever are the circumstances which are necessary, the conditions which are conducive, whether I'm going to get that or not, I don't know. Therefore, he says, may you remember that human life is so ephemeral and so short. It may be 50 years, 70 years, 100 years, but one day it has to go. So it is short. So think of moksha purushartha before it is too late. So what does he say? Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjivitamatishaya chapalam vidhi vyadhyabhimanagrastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam. Human life is like what? Nalini dalagata jalam ati taralam. On a lotus leaf in a pond, if there are drops of water, how those drops of water are moving here and there, and they may fall off in the pond. They're so unstable, they're moving unstably on a leaf. Why Nalini Dala? Any when it rains, you see any leaf of any plant outside your house, you'll find water drops which are precariously rolling on the leaf. At any moment they are going to fall down. So he says, this whole life, Tadvat Jeevitam Atishaya Chapalam. This human life is Atishaya Chapalam. It is unpredictable, absolutely unpredictable. Like what? Dalini Dalagata Jalam Atitaralam. Like a drop of water over a leaf, over a lotus leaf. Such is the instability, unpredictability of human life. Tadvat Jeevitam Atishaya Chapalam. That is, it is chapalam, it is, we don't know, unpredictable. Then he says that vidhi vyadhabhimanagrastham. Okay, all the time in this life, vyadi and abhimana, I am either suffering mental or physical illnesses, or my time is lost in abhimana, in ahankara and mamakara. Ahankara, mamakara itself. I don't have time to go beyond that. So he says, Vyadhi Abhimana Grastam, Lokam means humanity, Shokahatam, disturbed by pain, Shokahatam cha samastam. Lokam samastam. All people are afflicted by shoka. Why? So many desires, but a short life to complete all of them. I'm always feeling unfulfilled. I don't feel fulfilled by anything that I have done. Always unfulfilled. I want to be something. I want to become something else. I want to do something more. I want to get something more. All the time, I want. Wanting, becoming. Wanting, becoming. That is what it is. So this life is so short. So either I am abhimanagrastaha, vyadigrastaha, I'm most of the times, held by a vyadi or illness or abhimana in my body, mind, sense complex. And this entire humanity, shoka hatam, it is disturbed by pain. It is disturbed by sorrow. Chasamastam. Wake up. He's telling, hey, wake up. You have such a short life, and this life is completely filled by all these things. Wake up out of your, delusion that you're going to be there forever. Oh, Atma is going to be there forever. But you, the Jiva, this body, is not going to be there for you to attain this moksha purushartha. Therefore, the shortness of life, the unpredictability of life has been talked about in the fourth verse. We'll take one more verse. The fifth verse, he says that now he talks about pamakara, another field of delusion. These people belong to me. These are my children. This is my spouse. This is my house. These are my people. So, this abhimana in people around me, those who are connected with me as my people, my family, mamakara. Ultimately, mamakara is also going to give me a lot of dukkha, because what I'm expecting from people around me, my child, my parents, my spouse, I'm not going to get anything from them. Mamakara is ultimately going to tell me that there is nobody there who's going to give you back whatever you want. There's nobody who's going to do what you are expecting them to do. That is what he says, the stark reality of life. He says in this fifth verse, Yavadvittoparjana saktaha तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे. So यावद् वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः, as long as I am able to provide for the so-called mama, my people, vittoparjana saktaha, as long as I am able to earn, as long as I am able to provide resources for the so-called mama, my, mamava, like Dhritarashtra said, what are my people doing and what are Pandavas doing. So my people, my family, my relatives, as long as I am a provider, as long as I am a utility to them, as far as I am useful to them, they will be happy with me. They will care for me. Tavan nija parivaro raktaha. Till then, till you are able to contribute to the family in some way or the other, in some way, whatever way they want you to be needed there, you are tavan nija parivaraha. Nija parivara means your own family, which you call mama, mine. They are interested in you. They will at least ask you. They will find out what you need. But what Shankaracharya says is, Paschat jivati jarjara dehe. When I have outlived my utility, when I am no longer able to contribute to the people whom I called mama, when I become a burden on the very same people where now they have to take care of me, they have to look after me, what happens then? Vartam kopina pritchati gehe. In my own home, in my own house, my own people for whom I have done so much all my life, nobody will ask you how you are. As a sense of duty, they may do something for you as a sense of duty, but not out of wanting. And there are people where they don't want to do that with sense of duty also, where we find that old people are being abandoned in various places. Shankaracharya, a sannyasi, saw this happening in the houses. So, yavad vittoparjana saktaha, till you are capable of contributing to the family, that so people called as my people, tavan nija parivaro saktaha. Till then only they will be having some respect and some love or whatever it is for you. Paschat jivati jarjara deha. I'm no longer able to contribute, but my body is jarjara. I can't take care of myself. Somebody has to take care of me. Vartam kopina prichati gehe. Nobody is going to really bother about me. That is why in a text called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya Maharishi says this to his wife Maitreyi, and he says that nobody loves you for your sake. Atmanastu kamaya patihi priya bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya jayaye priya bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya. I love somebody for the sake of my own sake. I don't love anybody for their sake. It is an Upanishadic statement given by a Yajnavalkya Rishi. As long as you invoke a pleased, happy self in me, I love you. As long as you are able to contribute to me in some way, I care for you. The moment you are not able to contribute to me in any way, then there is no question of Priyam Bhavati. Atmanastu Kamaya. Whatever I love is for my own sake. Whatever person, a relationship I hold in high esteem is right now for my own sake, not for the sake of that person. So here, this delusion about mamakara also is hammered by Shankaracharya Bhagavan. I think it is that we don't have enough time for the next verse. The verses are very simple if you see here. The only thing you have to understand is Shankaracharya Bhagavan is trying to hammer away your delusion, our delusion, a common man's delusion, in various fields and getting lost in them. That's all. So he brings in every field and lays it open in front of us. Field of Artha, field of Kama, field of Mamakara, field of Ahankara, field of, that shortness of life. The whole thing he opens, keeps it in front of us and says, this is why choose Moksha Purushartha. That is why choose Bhajagovindam, choose Moksha Purushartha, choose Ishvara, choose Brahman. This is the ultimate meaning of Bhajagovindam. In the next few sessions, we will complete this. This goes like this only. It only makes us see, where we are going wrong and the deficiencies of what we hold on into our lives. That's all this is. Mohamudkaraha. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।